those kids in Narnia would have been crushed. Hello friends, my name is Elizabeth, and today we are talking about cliches. Specifically, the cliches that bog down a story's hero and turn them from lovable protagonist into aggravating fool. I will give my standard caveat here. This list is not meant to be the end-all be-all. It is obviously possible to write a story that uses these cliches that ends up being wildly successful and beloved by readers. That's fine. That's how they become cliches in the first place. But I do think that as writers, it's important to sit back and think about these cliches, to see if we're relying on them in our own stories in order to boost a flimsy protagonist. Okay? I'm just saying. We should probably make sure our characters are strong on their own before experimenting with these cliches in our writing. Okay? That's all. So, here we go. Here are the 7 worst hero cliches to use in your writing. Cliche number 1. Good teams and bad teams. This is the type of story where there is no central morality. There aren't good choices and bad choices, only good people and bad people. This is the trope of good guys versus bad guys, but taken to the extreme, where nothing the good guys do can be considered bad, even if they're doing the exact same thing that the bad guys are doing. It's still not viewed in the story as bad. The most classic example of this is Harry Potter. For the entire Harry Potter universe, this is how morality works. For example, Harry and the narrator make fun of Dudley for being fat, but Harry and the narrator are also extremely hostile towards anyone who makes fun of Mrs. Weasley or Neville for being fat. There's no internal reflection, no thinking, I don't like it when someone I care about is made fun of because of their weight, so I should stop making fun of other people because of their weight. Neither the character nor the narrator ever have that realization about any dilemma in the story. If the good guys do it, then it's good. If the bad guys do it, then it's bad. It doesn't matter what it is. And pretty much all moral dilemmas in the story are treated the same way. There are no bad actions, only bad people. And we don't judge whether people are bad or not by judging their actions, but by viewing their team. It doesn't make sense. It's actually aggravating, kind of. No central morality. I just don't like it. It's a bad cliche. Don't do it. Bad hero cliche number 2. The unnecessary mentor. Basically, if the mentor can take down the villain, then why do we need the hero? Like, why are we even here, folks? Why is this story even happening? If there is a wise old mentor with the skills and the knowledge needed to take down the villain, then why haven't they taken down the villain? What are you waiting for? Why do you need some bratty kid from the middle of nowhere? Just do it already, you know how. A lot of the time, this comes into play with Chosen One stories. And maybe I have an issue with Chosen One stories. But there's usually some pretty weak magic involved that makes the mentor, not even try to defeat the villain. They have all the skills, but instead, they spend their time searching for the chosen one. I just don't like it, okay? Bad hero cliche number 3. Unrealistic wounds. Pretty self-explanatory here. If your hero breaks his ankle, he's not running on that ankle for several more hours of battle. He may have one burst of adrenaline that allows him to leap to safety or something, but then after that he is out of commission. Burst of adrenaline only lasts for a few seconds. Doesn't matter how intense the situation is. A mom may be able to lift a car off her child, but that only works if the child is immediately pulled from beneath the car. The mom won't be able to just stand there holding the car until help arrives. That's just not how adrenaline works. Usually this happens because a writer wants to hit various action beats during a battle, so then the hero will get shot right at the all is lost moment, and then reinforcements will come in, or somebody will say something motivational to the hero that allows him to forget his bullet wound for the next 30 minutes of battle. But just no, that's not happening. The other reason this happens in stories is because the writer wants to include that moment that we see so often where the battle is finally over and the villain is defeated and the love interest turns to the hero and is like, we won! And then the hero grimaces at them and clutches their side. And they pull their hand away and it's covered in blood and they look up and they're like, I'm finally ready to feel pain now. Hi, honey. Just no! You can't do it! Even if you give your character some sort of plot armor here, like they're super advanced, very highly evolved against pain, I start to lose faith in your storytelling if they can get shot 5 times and barely even slow down. Controversial here, but in Captain America, Winter Soldier, we know that Captain America does not heal instantly. He requires a hospital stay. So are we really supposed to believe that he can keep moving and being completely beat up with the fists of a metal man after being shot literally 5 times? I just feel like the writer should have stopped at 2 times. Maybe 3, but there's just too many. Even for a super soldier to survive, he does not have instantaneous healing powers. He could not be able to continue on after being shot so many times. I don't believe it. Bad hero cliche number 4. Selective morality. This is perhaps a niche complaint, but I often encounter heroes with, let's say, tunnel vision when it comes to morality in battle. For instance, they destroy entire cities with impunity and have a total disregard for civilian life in the vast majority of fight scenes, but then suddenly decide that the villain has to go because he killed like one guy at the start of the story. Are you so blind to your own destruction? This also happens when the hero is supposed to be this like very righteous person who values human life as one of his core tenets in life. So he refuses to allow his team to kill the villain, and instead he wants to bring the villain to justice by capturing him and sending him to prison. The only problem is, on his way to capturing the villain, he happened to mow down about 24 henchmen and a couple of minimum wage security guards on the way. The morality is pretty murky there, and I'm not too sure where you really stand on the issue, my guy. Bad hero cliche number 5. Newly trained hero versus army of bad guys. Again, fairly self-explanatory title, but this trope is the one where we followed the new fumbling hero getting brought into the world and trained one-on-one with his mentor, and then is suddenly able to go into battle and fight hordes of enemies all at once. Those kids in Narnia would have been crushed. Not only are we supposed to believe that the hero has gained the ability to fight in a battle at all in the short amount of time that we've been following him in this story, but also somehow they are able to translate their new baby one-on-one fighting skills to fighting a bunch of people all at once with no problems. You know, it just doesn't make sense. It's not possible. That's why, in The Princess Bride, Wesley was able to take down the giant, because fighting a group is different than fighting just one person.
I haven't fought just one person for so long.
It requires entirely different moves and tactics. And there's just no way to believe that a newbie nobody, who had to be trained how to fight at all, would suddenly be able to fight 15 soldiers single-handedly. I'm just not buying it. Bad hero cliche number 6. The power of love. Alright, so this may be just a pet peeve of mine. And like, don't hate me, I know love is powerful and I do love a good, love conquers all type of story. But love conquers all is a cop-out of the highest magnitude. Unless you've set up a magic system where love is the all-powerful force in the world that is strong enough to defeat anything, and we know that throughout the story, then swooping in at the last minute to save the hero with the power of love is literally no different than a deus ex machina. Deus ex machina. I don't know how to pronounce it. I should have looked it up. The hand of God coming down from the heavens to save the characters because you, the writer, couldn't think of any other way to get them out of their predicament and have them survive the story. You know, I was always bothered, by the solution in the first Harry Potter. Like, no worries everyone, just popping in here at the very end of the story to say, not only does love make it impossible for anyone to kill you, but it also gives you specific killing powers with your hands that you can turn on and off, just when necessary. You don't even know when it's happening. You're 11 years old and you just committed murder in the basement. But no matter, have a good summer. I just don't like it, okay? I never liked it. It felt cheap, it felt unearned. You know, I guess. Harry's mom was the only parent in the world who ever sacrificed themselves to save their child. But why on earth does that translate to sudden killing powers in Harry in the basement of, Philosopher's Stone? It just doesn't make sense. I don't like it. I will never like it. I don't like it. Also, in the Matrix sequel, Matrix Reloaded, Neo is able to reach into Trinity's dead body and pull a bullet from her in order to save her life. Even though it has already been established in the story multiple times that as soon as you die in the Matrix, you immediately die in the real world. But no worries, Neo gets extra finagling time here for no good reason, he loves her.
I love you too damn much.
He's never done anything like that before, but it doesn't matter. He can do it now. That's how love works, right? No thank you. Bad hero cliche number 7. The big speech before a battle. I mean, again, this is an iffy one. This could be just a me problem. I know a lot of people do love a good pre-battle speech, and I'm not here to hate on you. I get why writers do it. Everyone loves that tingly pride that courses through you when you hear a really good speech from some guy on your team, and you feel all invigorated and unstoppable. And that's what people need before a big battle. But I don't know, I just don't like it. And maybe it's just secondhand embarrassment, but I feel like unless you know you're like writing the Gettysburg Address level of speech, and you are this supreme speech writer, I just feel like it's likely that your speech in your story is going to end up making your audience cringe. It's probably going to make me cringe. Maybe I'll be the only one. I don't know. But I always wanted to fast forward during Wade Watts' speech at the end of Ready Player One when he's calling everybody else to come help him defeat the final battle level thing. It's just no good. It's a bad speech. I don't like it. But I often encounter heroes